janitor who wouldn't open Harriet Tubman, right? It was the 2001 Show and Proof. And I'm going to show you a picture a little bit later, but I'm going to start out because as an idea pops into my mind, right? Because I've always been a God concerned about creating structure, right, for the nation. And creating structure allows us as a nation to solve problems that we all suffer from. So at some point, people were saying that we were a nation that didn't have a father, even though Allah is the God and He is the father of the nation. They was trying to tell our black women that it was illegitimate for them to have babies. Now you know that that sounds super stupid. You know that there is nobody on this planet that can declare that our children are illegitimate. But you know if you're not married under the government will then declare that it was illegal for your earth to give you a son or a daughter. And to me, that sounded like a problem in need of a solution. So what did I do? I had a thought and I had an idea, and then the idea materialized, right, on paper as what Allah meant when He said not to marry under the government. So what I did was I gave it to Born Allah and some of my big brothers, because what I wanted them to see is the thought process that led me to write the lesson. And then so I proposed that we have 7 gods, 6 earths. We sit down at a table and then we would discuss the intimate details on how we, as the 5% nation of gods and earths, would come together under the sun, moon, and stars. And I suggested that we called it bonding, right? Because like I said, I'm always looking for a solution. So what I'm about to read is something else that I wrote, and it's called It's Not About Me. As the dawn of a new millennium, the nation of gods and earth stands poised to assume the leadership mantle predicted in the law will manifest. Since we are the people living in the time of predicted history, it is our deeds that will make the prediction a reality. In that light, it is time for the first of many national conferences of the nation of gods and earths. Every state in which we are represented will have a delegation of 3, with one of those presenting the views, ideas, insight, and agenda of that particular state. This is a think tank conference of all professions that contribute to the shaping and molding of an independent nation. Pads and pens as well as laptops are recommended necessities, because we will be getting down to the business of nation business. The event will be sponsored under the auspices of a Law Youth Center in Mecca, Inc., which at that time was under the administration of Siakil Allah. He's no longer with us. Love it. That's my giant God, man. That was my brother, man. Each participant in the conference, now listen, this is an idea. Each participant in the conference will pay $25 that will be deposited in a business account of a Law Youth Center in Mecca. These monies will then be used to procure the space for the event to take place in New York City in October of 2000. It actually happened in 2001. New York City will have a delegation of 3 from each borough, as well as any other state that is densely populated by gods and earths. I am looking for New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Detroit, Seattle, Washington, Baltimore, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, California to be duly represented. I am not sure as to all the states that we have a population in, so if you happen to be in a particular place, come and make your presence felt and agenda heard. And just remember, it's not about me and it's not about you. It's about us, the universal saviors, making a way for we the people to ascend to your thrones of leadership and independence. So what you see on the screen is the original writing. I wrote this in 1999. You understand? But when I was able to bring the thought and the idea to life, it didn't happen in 2001. At the Show and Prove. Now, like I said, I worked with the Allah Youth Center in Mecca under the auspices of Siakil Allah. Now, at a point when I'm at the Show and Prove, I'm ready to have this first national summit. I'm super excited. And Allah says, God, I can't get the key. And I says, it doesn't matter. I don't care. It's nothing can stop what it is that we are predicted to do, because Allah said we the greatest nation on the face of the planet, and that it was left up to us to show and prove that reality. So what I said was, I don't care if the door is closed. We gonna have that summit. Please put up the picture. So we did. You see that? That's the picture of the summit. That's PS 154 Harriet Tubman. Now what you don't see is you don't see Zaire, I'm Majestic, right? You don't see them. They're at the bottom of the steps. So what I did was I did the presentation on them steps because we had to. Because it was time. Now the thing that made me so very happy is that after this first national summit, right, that had to take place outside, those guards went home to Pittsburgh and they just told you the story. They got down in that basement. Now I just as a point of information, I want y'all to know something about me, right? Is that I would sacrifice, right, my time, my physical composition, right, for the furtherance and growth and development of this nation. I've done it, I do it, I did it. When the guards asked me to come to Father Rule, I came. That's how my relationship with Zaire, his earth, you know, we had 1434 Mott Avenue, you know what I'm saying? I resided in the basement, they resided upstairs. You know, Aquasia is Qualisha's little sister, right? Qualisha lived in the basement with her God, Lord Wise. I lived in that same basement. Because this is the growth and development. This is how gods and earths come together for a common cause. And the common cause was to make sure that our babies were safe out there. So any of those people that was acting less than civilized, calling our babies the N-word and all of that, we had to regulate. So it was not an issue for us to do so. You know, Zaire, when we were sitting right here, he whispered in my ear, he said, God, I still remember when you knocked the cop out, right? Because the cop had tried to arrest our brother. I jumped on the back. Yo, God, I put the cop in the chokehold, God. God, get away. The guard got away, and I got away. This is what I'm talking about. If y'all not ready to sacrifice for the greater good, right? Don't talk to me, right, about nothing. I don't really want to hear it. Right. But I have to hear you. Because what you do talk to me about might be something I need to learn. So I'm not the arrogant individual who doesn't take, right, lessons from my younger brothers or my little brothers. That's not who I am. Who I am is a God that loves this nation so much and has given years, months, and days, man, you know, to make sure that that happened. So I want to talk about Region 4 because this is our 19th time doing this. And all of y'all need to give yourself a round of applause. Hey, I don't see everybody clapping. And the reason why I say this to y'all, and listen, man, I'm not even playing, man. We set a standard for regional conferences. Yo, God, can you play that video? This is me introducing the regional conference at my brother's request in front of the Universal Parliament in Mecca. Right? But remember, we in Region 4. Right? So in Region 4, God, we took the mantle of the growth and development process because, God, Lexington was the heart. Love, equality, unknown. Lexington was the heart. Right? We had the Greensboro was God's borough. Right? Charlotte, the God Shabazz born there from day one when we started our conferences in 2003. And God, let me just give y'all just a little blueprint on how Region 4 began to manage the first conference. We would meet every 2 weeks or once a week, God, and we would collect money, God. And when we would collect money, right, and Shabu was there from day one, God, we always was able to pay for the conference. God, the first conference, God, we flew our keynote speaker in. We put him up in the hotel, and the whole nation was talking about how magnificent that conference was, God. Because it was, God. Because we understood that by creating the 9 regions that was created, it made the nation smaller, which meant that we now, no matter where we were in the country, we had made the nation smaller so that we would know, well, in Region 1, God, you know, This is what's going on. Let it play, but take the sound out, right? Region 2, Region 3, Region 4. We are Region 4. That's Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. And who would have thunk it, right? That the Bible Belt South would be the premier part of this nation that made the growth and development shine. And I want y'all that was there from day one, and you know who you are. I'm looking at you, but I ain't saying nothing, but you know who you are. And what we did, the beautiful thing about what we did is that from the bottom up, when the God, this is most important. This ain't no top down. This ain't no we reporting the Mecca thing. Because remember this, and I'm not even joking, Mecca learned from us. Because we showed them. We showed them how to shine with this, man. And so when we say from the bottom up, that meant that in let's say in North Carolina, right? In North Carolina, what we realized, that's me introducing the growth and development process to the nation at the Universal Parliament. Look who's in the front row. Just do the knowledge, right? What we did from the bottom up, right, in each city, God, is that we came together and we would take the parliaments, right? We would take the parliaments from Godsboro, because if Godsboro was in a high tide, right? Because everybody will know this, even in your local city or town, no matter what city or town you're from, you're going to have a high tide and a low tide. What that means is, at a point in time, the number of gods and earths that participate in building or growing and developing might shrink or it might grow. So if let's say Godsboro, now watch this, if Godsboro is in a high tide, what we would do is we would not only have parliaments in Godsboro, but we would take the energy of the high tide and bring it to the heart, right? So the gods in Godsboro would travel to Lexington and they would have a parliament. Then we would take it from Lexington and go to Salisbury, right? Then we would take it from Salisbury and go to Charlotte. So what we're doing is we're transferring energy, right? And as we transfer the energy, we're growing. Because this is how you grow, right? Because some of us are the piece with magnetic and some of us are not. I pity the ones
plain and simple.
But you can increase the level of magnetic that you have, right? By your dedication and your input in the work that you do for the growth and development of your nation. We got sisters in here, man, that get it off. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. I recognize that. And I applaud them. I applaud our sisters. But they put that work in. Endlessly, tirelessly. You understand? Because it ain't about me. And it ain't about you. It's about us. It's always been. It's about us, gods, so that Allah can never die. So that God will live forever. And it's about her, because without her, he and she can't get here.
That's right. Knowledge and wisdom.
Understanding is the clear picture. How many of y'all can draw pictures with your words? Huh? How many of y'all can do that? Because that's how you make the people see that our nation ain't no joke, man. Listen, man, I took on, when I say I create institutions because I see problems, yo, God, I went to the Department of Corrections, God, and I remember when I first mentioned it to my brothers at it, like just the regular Universal Parliament. I said, you know what, man, my brothers is being, see my young guy right there? You see him? That's when he was little. Now, he see the energy, so he want to build like his old dad. Look at him. And he's slapping 835. Because energy is contagious. He got the energy and he want to build. That's why the babies are the greatest. That's why the young who are in Region 4 right now, y'all have to know this history. Like, we did this 19 times. You understand? And when Zaire tells you what he told you with that breakdown, because we took the mantle and we made it happen here, man. And what I'm saying to y'all is that today, we didn't know, right? I didn't know when I stood on them steps, and I didn't know when I got the call from Zaire, and And they said, yo, God, we got the knowledge. I was so happy. But I didn't know that we would be 19 years later looking beautiful. Because we all got the knowledge of self. Now we learning the knowledge of economics. Right? God, I'm an author of 2 books, right? So when I wrote the books, I created my own publishing company, right? So my publishing company is No Cap Publishing. When you mentioned fruits of organized development, we created that together. The hardest part of that was the 501 part, the C3 part. I mean, the 501 was fairly simple. The C3 part was dealing with, oh my God, the tax exemption status. Yo, God, word is bond, God. 3 times they said no, but we got it on the 4th time, God. Because we winners over here, God. We not losers. We don't quit, God. This was my first national conference meeting proposal. Every state, the participants sends a delegation, lawyers, proposal writers, fundraisers, specialists, entertainment promoters, grassroots leadership, and to present the topics of discussion: nation building, consolidation of resources for health, education, and political advantages, as well as crime and prison in our community and the nation. The cultural equation creation, defining ourselves to the world so that we can conquer illegitimacy with the creation of our own cultural customs. The establishment of honor days and the nation account. Delegation comprised of both God and earth, super important. The establishment of national communications. The national distribution of 5% of newspaper to be sold nationally. The establishment of a product unique to the nation of God's earth that will serve as our identifying primary fundraiser beside the 5% newspaper. Happy to see this song.
Stop playing.
How to best utilize the law you sent in Mecca 501c3, not for profit status. Every state has its own council with population is small. The council of 13 will be enough. Out of the 13, the state will send a qualified 7. Of course, whenever we're dealing with a number of 13, we're talking about God, 7 gods, 6 earths. New York will have a council of 13 for every borough that has interest in population to support it. Mecca, Pelon, Desert, Medina, Long Island, and every part that wants to be recognized must send delegates. Each delegation will have a spokesman, the presenter of its facts, ideas, and contribution. Have a branch of a law you sent in Mecca in every state, thus making it a national non-profit. A law you center can become the national Allah you center in Mecca. Since there is no present day category that we fit in, we must create our own. So I did that. I did that. And I did that when I battled the Department of Corrections so that we didn't have to act like Masons and hide our flags and hide our lessons. I told the Department of Corrections, I said, you know what I'm saying? We are a nation of God's and earth's 5% that's free from religion. So it's not enough to say what you're not. You also got to show and prove what you are. So when they asked me who I am and what we are, I said we are God-centered culture. Now I took some blowback from y'all from that. But I said, well, wait a minute. Of course we're God-centered culture. I said God is above his head, right? So every time I go into the courtroom and the first word is God, it's above the judge's head, because above the judge, it says, in God we trust. So the affairs of God is beyond the rule of man. I am the ruler, right? I'm the ruler. He makes a ruling, but I'm the ruler. I said centered, because everything that we say and do is centered in the reality that who's God?
Black man.
The black man is God, right? And then culture just speaks to the custom, principles, mores of people at any given time in any given place. And here we are in the wilderness of North America, which used to be the poor part of the planet Earth, which we made the most powerful part of the planet Earth, God's and us. We did that. He just beat us when we didn't do it fast enough. Do y'all not understand what's going on? Everything that's great about this land is because of our blood, our work, our sweat, our tears, our ancestors. So I suggest we define ourselves as a God-centered culture. I penned that. I created that. When I created that, I created in the same year, 2003, the National Office of Cultural Affairs. My co-founder is powerful ruling nation of law. It was born alive in the free cipher, contrary to liars who lie. Because it was born when I was going to the Intelligent Tariq trial in New York City. I visited with his lawyers. If anybody wants proof, this is the pass
Woo!
from downtown.
Woo! You go in there,
Well, I visit with his lawyers and showed and proved to them that this man who was saying that he was righteous despite the fact that he was a prisoner must win this case. And we did. So once I saw that we was going to win, I said we have to create a professional office to serve as an intermediary between the Department of Corrections, right, and this nation, because they didn't know who we were. So when I dealt with them, we came with a calendar of honor days, starting with the father's physical and ending with day one. Now some of y'all might try to come back at me, 10-10, that's what we, you know what I'm saying, that's how we said it, 10-10 wins. Who's from New York and remembers 10-10 wins? Ah, very good. So that's creating an institution that can live without me. So even when I am no longer here, the National Office of Cultural Affairs will continue to function. Just last week, I received notice from Michigan that we just won another case of freedom in Michigan. On December 23rd, 23, we just won a victory here in North Carolina. And the beautiful thing, when I say these things, I'm not just reporting what I read. I'm reporting on how I walked the God whose name is on the victory to the victory. Writing affidavits. Oh, I'm nice with that because I enjoy it. I'm a freedom fighter, man. I fight for this freedom, man. I get in. Yeah, I get in. See, my field of expertise might not be in the economic field, but when it comes to solving issues and problems, right, that affect us as a people, yeah, I use the word I, but this work is for us.
Right.
Because who else is solving problems? Everybody makes money. The law tells us don't take nothing on face value, but we are forced to, aren't we? Every single day. The white man is dead, but his ghost is killing us, right? Now, Allah said don't take none of face value, but you have to. If you want to eat, you want to have a house, you want to have clothes, right? Depending on whose face is in your pocket on a piece of paper painted green, determines if you can eat, if you can have a house, right? Am I joking? So that's because you're supposed to be the Lord of all the world. See, there's two words. See, a lot of y'all is superstars in the sixth world. See, I'm a seventh world, you know what I'm saying, resident. Yeah, I live in 7. Now, being that I'm a Lord of all the worlds, I can descend in the 6 and do my thing. Right? But I don't get to shine in 6. I get criticized in 6. Because I might be disrupting the plans of those who want to give our land to another man that don't look like us. You know, I wrote a biography and I told the earth, I said it's a biography book. Because I wanted y'all to understand and have on paper just some of the things that I've done, right, to solve the issues and concerns and problems that our nation has been faced with. And they being practically applied, they work because they create benefits. There are brothers sitting in here right now who were up. No, I'm not pointing them out, but they know when they rang this phone, I answered. And I walked them through the trials and tribulation and showed them the key to freedom. In my book that's sitting outside Situfu, I broke down how to do a 1983. Anybody know what a 1983 is? Who in here doesn't know what a 1983 is? That's a lot of people. A 1983 is a lawsuit, God, that you fill out, God, when you have been wronged and you have been injured, right, by a government or a higher power structure, you know what I'm saying, in the government, man. And so, being that I understand the power of a 1983, because I am one of the only gods in the history of this nation who, while, because of Allahu Akbar, they took control of my physical composition, which is how I met Black Messiah and walked the yard with him every day, which is how I met Born Allah and met with him every afternoon, that when I was there, they found me guilty of being God in Clinton Correction Facility. Did you think I took that laying down? No. You know what I did? I said, I'm the true and living God. You knew that when you saw me. I didn't hide it. I ain't no Mason. I ain't no secret squirrel. And so what I did was, I did an Article 78. When I was done, the Attorney General forced the New York State Department of Corrections to give me back my lessons, to give me back my flag, to give me back my good time, to give me back everything. And you know what? I never used the R word. Does anybody have an idea what I mean by the R word? Right. Because God, the R word is the word religion. I never use that word. You know why? Because all religions tried to kill us, which is why we don't subscribe to no religion. You name me one religion that ain't tried to kill the black man, woman, and child. Look at what Islam did in the first slave trade. Look at what the Pope, how the Pope decreed that we could be bought and sold and murdered. Look at the book of Genesis, where they said that we are the product of a homosexual curse, that Noah's son saw him naked, so Noah, being this dynamic witch that he just happened to be, cursed his son, but the curse didn't hit his son, it hit his grandson, who turned from white to black. So in the book of Genesis, in the Bible, they hated us because they said we, the black man, woman, and child, are a product of a curse. Not only that, but that not only is the curse that we went from white to black, but that we will forever be white people's slaves until time immemorial. That's in the book of Genesis. If you have read that book and didn't come across that yet, go back and check it out. I'm telling y'all the truth. So what I'm saying to you is that they came at our Father because he told us the truth. He, being the black man God, the flesh of his body, see, the first thing that the devil learned when he found out that God was real, he understood the real God has flesh. And so being that he is the natural destroyer, when he saw that God had flesh, and being that he is the natural destroyer, right? He always sought to destroy the flesh. So he came for our Father's flesh. You saw the picture of Malcolm peeking out the window? You saw what they did to Martin King? You seen what they did to countless numbers of black men. You seen what they did to Sandra Massey the other day. They shot her in the eye. You see what they did to our father, man. 7, man. You know, when I was rocking with my man right there, Lord Justin, you know what I'm saying? We be in the projects, man. We'd always go to the elevator, God. You understand, God? What projects is that, Lord? God, we would go there, God. Because we had to see, man. You understand? The reality of what... That's why we got the knowledge, so God would never die again. He can't kill us. He kills the one. That's why we many. We many. But see, gods and earths, this message has to be delivered in real time so y'all can feel it. So you can take it home with you. So in your brain, after you leave here, you thinking about it. And as you think about it, you might write about it. You might do something that changes, right, your understanding of what this nation is and what you can be in this nation as far as a productive member, a productive citizen. I don't use the word member. A productive citizen who brings change. And listen, gods and earth, yeah. That thought and idea that I had for the National Summit, God, it produced, you know what I'm saying, something beautiful where the 9 regions came from his fruit, Zaire's fruit, you know what I'm saying, and it made me so very happy, and I had no issues with making sure, right, that the nation was exposed to it, the nation accepted it, Region 4 accepted it the best. We've done our thing for the past 19 years, and I have no doubt whatsoever that we will continue to shine and show the world the power of Almighty God Allah and his sons and his daughters. And with that, I want to say peace to the gods and the earth. Yeah.